in the answers that you guys have supplied, some of you have focused on policy responses which were not asked for in the question. And if they were good answers, then you might get a couple of sympathy points for that, even though they were not, strictly speaking, asked for. But some of them, which were put forward, which were plausible, there was some rationality to them, included raising interest rates that would curtail the demand for speculative investment, reducing the loan-to-value ratio on the part of banks, so it meant that there would be less credit available for certain classes of people, so it restricts the class of people who would be able to take out such loans. So this would decrease demand, or curtail the increase in demand, which would thereby either decrease price or curtail the increase in price, which would undermine the bubble. You could have immigration restrictions. That's another suggestion people made, because the argument here is that part of the issue is the population growth fuels demand for apartments, especially apartments, but houses as well. So if you restricted immigration or you restricted population growth, you're restricting the demand to some extent. Or you could relocate people to rural areas, insofar as the housing bubbles are city-centric. I suppose these are options as well. You could have greater restrictions on foreign speculative investment in the real estate market in Australia, which would contribute to a decrease in the demand. It would certainly decrease the demand for speculative investment. And on the supply side, you could have the government simply releasing more land for development, or changing zoning rules, so you could have greater residential development, especially upwards, in the form of apartment blocks that hopefully are built well and don't fall down. This would increase the supply of the housing stock over time, which would in turn undermine the increases in prices, and therefore perhaps undermine the stabilizing price expectations that underlie the bubble.